Professor B here at Professor B here on satellite, or as I say, Niners Radio 49 here in downtown San Francisco. Here and down here at we're down here in the district, here at the financial district in downtown San Francisco. Late Thursday afternoon here, 4:30. We're gonna have a very short, condensed podcast of Niners 49ers Live due to Thursday night football coming up in about a half hour at the top of the hour. Thursday night football, it will be the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. That will be coming up in about a half hour from now. That will be on that game will be on Amazon Prime. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit will be giving you the play-by-play in that will be in Buffalo, and that's gonna and the kickoff time I believe is gonna be at about 5:15 if I'm correct. 5:15 is the kickoff time. So we're only going on. This is gonna be a very short show. We're gonna you can hear the cable cars behind me. It's gonna be a very short show today on our 49ers Live. Glad you guys are joining us. We're going to start it off very short as we're getting you ready for week number 3 of the NFL season. As the Dolphins will be playing the Buffalo Bills. It will be a 5:15 kickoff in Buffalo. So we're going to right now. We'll start it off our podcast. We will start it off. We'll lead it off with the pressers from all our video feeds, courtesy of 49ers.com, and it's be Mac Jones, Brock Purdy having their share, talking with the media. Then in our next segment, we will have our coordinator segment, Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak, their challenges with the Cardinals for this Niners taking on the Arizona Cardinals for this Sunday. So, without further ado, we will go to the podium. This is video feed earlier from 49ers.com. It's Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, which begins right now.
Are we going to see you hooping on Sunday?
Hopefully.
The film, what kind of impressions did you take from your start in New Orleans?
Yeah, I definitely watched it and learned from it and took all the coaching points and then have worked hard in practice to fix the things. I hate saying fix, but learn from the things I didn't do as well and just get better at them. And I think the guys have done that, and we've definitely moved on from that game. Just really focused on the Cardinals and stacking another good performance and carrying some good momentum into this week.
If you had to look at those things, what were some of those things where you said, okay, I could be better at this or better at that?
Really just mindset stuff and staying in the moment. And like I said, starting the game faster is important to me. And that just goes down to doing your job really well and sticking to your rules, your reads, all those things. So working on that in practice and still got a lot to put in here and get better at.
Matt, why don't you like the word fix?
I feel like it sometimes has like a negative connotation. I think like you're just trying to grow and learn and do things better. So that's what I think it is. I don't think anything's broken. And when you hear fix, that's what you think, right? But in football, every week it's a new week. And the NFL, they don't care if you won last week or lost. It's a fresh slate. fresh canvas, and you got to go out there and paint a good picture.
Is that part of like how you kind of have to train your mind as far as positive thinking? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very subtle thing, but is that something that you've learned throughout your NFL career?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, what you think usually comes to life. So you got to be positive and also critical at the same time. And you never do everything right, so you got to figure out what you didn't do right and learn from it.
Attention.
It was okay. It was a few times that we saw Purdy, talking with you on the sideline, cheering for you, excited for you, the plays you were making out there. Just interested, now that you've reflected on that game and now you got to look into week 3.
Yeah.
Have you and Brock talked, had any conversations, anything that's kind of helped you to go into this game a little bit more settled than the last?
Yeah, Brock's doing a great job preparing and really just bouncing off ideas between each other. And like we do every week, we're going to go in each day and attack it. And there's a lot of information to absorb. And whether he's playing or I'm playing, it doesn't matter. We're still working together and just trying to get to Sunday to where we feel comfortable and the coaches feel comfortable in the plan and we feel comfortable in the plan. So, yeah, we do a great job communicating and also having fun and just keeping it loose in there. And that's what it's all about. You're working, but you're also, that's your job, but you're really just friends, also just hanging out.
I don't know how much you pay attention to some of the numbers and things like that, but numbers show that last year you struggled a bit against zone coverage. The other day you had a lot of success against it. Anything that you can point to that maybe helped or that maybe something schematically you're doing here that is helping in that regard?
Yeah, just different systems, I guess. And obviously the system is very quarterback driven and playing on time and then also not playing on time. Like it's not just always perfectly on time. And zone defense is about depth and spacing. So guys just have to get in the right spots, and it's the quarterback's job to deliver the ball. And then man coverage is different, and you can see either one. Sometimes sometimes you don't, but you have to react and play the position how you would normally. And it doesn't really matter if it's man or zone. You just got to follow your rules and go where the ball takes you.
You got down on yourself too much when things went wrong earlier in your career?
I don't know if down on myself. I just really got better at rolling with the punches, and I've been through a lot, but I feel like it makes me stronger and not making a big deal about things that aren't a big deal. Like if you miss a motion or one little thing, it's not the end of the game. And I've been coached that way, and I've been thankful to be coached that way, and I've gotten coached that way here. Just focusing on everything and trying to do everything right, and you're never going to be perfect. I think that's the biggest thing with me is I'm a perfectionist, and so a lot of these guys on this team and in the NFL. So really just playing functional, and like I said in last week, just throw it, run it, or hand it off. So it's pretty much that simple.
Is there any difference in knowing you're going to start like last week as opposed to this week? Well, I might start.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, as a backup, you're not playing the first snap, and as a starter, you are. So you got to be ready for both. And at the end of the day, all the externals don't really matter. You just have to focus on the game plan and getting everything tidied up by Sunday. And that's what I'm doing, just like a normal week for me, and following my schedule and being ready to play if my number's called.
What's the number one thing that jumps out about Arizona's scheme or personnel?
Yeah. Played against them a few years ago. It's a new scheme and some similar players, but they do a great job disguising coverage and got a lot of good players on the back end. And obviously their defensive line is explosive. Been very impressed with them on film this year and obviously last year too. So they got playmakers. They try to confuse the quarterback, and they do a good job of that.
Mark, it seemed like an odd question, but the guys in the locker room have mentioned a few times how funny you are and how popular your personality is within the locker room. Just wondering if off the field that kind of helped to build chemistry that kind of is folded over onto the field.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always just trying to be myself, and at the end of the day, it's your friends, it's your brothers that you're playing with out there, and the closer that you can be off the field is the closer you're going to be on the field. So try to be the same guy every day and have fun with it, and go out there and let it fly. I think everyone knows that about me, and I really appreciate the guys on this team for having my back, and I got to continue to earn that every day. Just because it's 1 week doesn't matter. You got to do it again and show them that you can do it consistently.
Mark, I was wondering, in the AFC East, did you ever see Bryce Huff coming off the edge like that, like he did against the Saints?
Yeah, one time I remember, but I heard it was some record or something. And yeah, he's got a great get off, and he's so quiet, so you never hear him coming. He just sends it. And I remember playing against him, and we were always worried about the other guy on the other side. I'm like, no, we got to worry about this guy. So he's done a great job, and Great locker room guy, just quiet, does his job, and really love playing with him.
That moment you think about a sack or no?
Yeah, I did get sacked. I'm pretty sure. I think they called roughing the passer, but it was not a roughing the passer.
I talked to, we talked to head coach Kyle Shanahan, and I asked him what the conversations were like between you and him, and he just said, it's day to day. How is he feeling? So, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean exactly that. It's been a day to day thing this week, and I feel like I'm happy with the progress that I've been making with my foot and toe, and so more than anything, it's just going to be a day to day thing on how I feel. Nothing really more to that. So. And I was like, all right, something's wrong with my toe here, and obviously you go in, you get an MRI, and you get a diagnosis and all that. So I didn't really know until after, but obviously you go throughout a game and you get hit and go through certain things, but my mindset's always been like, I can play, and you got to really take me off the field for something serious, but if I can walk and jog and throw a football, then I'm good to go. So like that was more so my mindset, and like I said, I didn't feel it till after. So.
Did you let them know during the game that there was at least something that was bothering you? Something?
Yep.
Would you play this weekend, or do you still need to wait and see how it feels in a day or two?
Definitely just gotta see, come game time, how I feel. It's not obviously I want to play every game, dude. Like I want to be out there. We only get 17 regular season games, and every game matters, especially a divisional. Going against the Cardinals. So if you ask me, I'd love to, but I mean I'm trying to be smart with my body here, but you never know. We'll see when the game comes.
Brock, have you ever dealt with a toe injury? And if not, do you have more appreciation for the importance of a big toe?
Yeah. I've never dealt with a toe injury. But yeah, it's crazy. Just talking to receivers and skill position guys that, you hear them go through a toe injury or whatnot, and then they go, no, dude, it's one of the most painful things regarding, because you use your toe, you use your feet, and every little movement and stuff, and you got to be explosive and go in and out of cuts, and so yeah, I definitely have a new perspective and an appreciation for making sure that your toes are healthy, and it's everything. So.
Your shoulder, is that still an issue, or is it at this point not an issue?
No, it's good. Yeah.
Obviously, it affects your mobility. How does it affect your ability to throw a football?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's dropping back. I went back and watched film and just saw how explosive you really need to be at quarterback. You don't really think about it, but getting back from the line of scrimmage and your drop, your handoffs, carrying out a fake, bootlegs, and scrambling, obviously you need your toes to be able to go in and out of those cuts, and it's something that you can't really mask. You got to be all in and healthy to be able to play the position of quarterback. So now I realize that.
You have to wear a steel plate under the toe, Brock, or have the footwear adjusted. And then my other question is, are you pretty glad you escaped what Joe Burrow's got?
Yeah, I mean, I think the orthotics and cleat footwear and stuff, we're going through that right now. But yeah, there's been guys that wear, the steel foundation that can help out with your toes and whatnot. But yeah, there's that. And then obviously, yeah, what happened to Joe sucks, man. And so I'm fortunate, that I don't have to have surgery. But I don't really know what else to say, man. It's just unfortunate.
When you're watching the game, are you going through the reps that Mac's going through mentally, emotionally? How are you approaching that?
During the game or practice? During the game. Yeah, obviously I'm in tune to every single play call, and last week it was I'm on the sideline, yes, but how can I help my team, and be a guy there for Mac, helping him with what he saw on the field when he comes off the sideline, or talking to other players about the play and stuff. So it's just handling all that, but obviously being in tune and seeing what he's what he's seeing out in the field. It's tougher when you're on the sideline, but I understand his shoes and him going through reads and trying to handle the emotions of a game. It's not easy, and so obviously I want to be there for him and my whole team as a whole. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was you heard from both Mac Jones and Brock Purdy from they're talking about the extent of that turf toe injury. And we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Robert Saleh, the coordinators segment, Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak, their thoughts of the game coming up. So we'll take this quick timeout, and we'll be right back on Niners Radio 49. You're watching 49ers Live on location at the Financial District in downtown San Francisco. We'll be right back. All right, we continue on Niners Radio 49, 49ers Live, Professor B. We are going on a very short show, this is a very abbreviated show late this afternoon because of Thursday Night Football. We'll get you out to Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, in Orchard Park, New York, as the 2-0 Buffalo Bills taking on the 0-2 Miami Dolphins in a big, pivotal, must-win game for the Miami Dolphins in Week 2 of this young season. And, of course, former Niners offensive assistant Mike McDaniel is feeling the heat down in South Florida and, on the hot seat already, not looking good for the Miami Dolphins at this early point of the season. For the Buffalo Bills, who've been knocking at that door to get to the Super Bowl, hopefully, I got them as my pick to represent the American Football Conference, known as the AFC, in the Super Bowl coming to hope they come out to the Bay Area in February. So right now, our next segment on Niners Radio 49, we are going to have our coordinator segment with 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh and Niners offensive coordinator Ted Kubiak. What's going to be their game plan against the Arizona Cardinals this Sunday at the Mecca. So now, without further ado, here is the segment with both Robert Saleh and the challenges they bring. It begins right now.
Any craft. I feel like if you're paying attention to your weaknesses, you'll find a way to get better. So I don't know. I guess it's a question more for him.
Paying attention to mistakes and you getting better. When you look at what the defense has been able to do over the first 2 weeks, what are some mistakes that were made maybe in the Saints game? Because Fred is kind of vocal about there are still mistakes that you saw in the Saints game that you just feel like you got to do away with going into this one against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
Yeah, as the year goes on and more tape is being put on, there's things that offenses will look for with regards to us creating, vacating different parts of our zones, and offenses are always chasing space, and so we just got to be very cognizant of the space that we're allowing to get created. And so from a precision standpoint, it could be a heck of a lot better. It was awesome that we closed the game with the last two drives, but and we had a really good kind of middle of it, a few good series in there where we played good ball, but on a couple of those touchdown drives, we just weren't as clean as we needed to be. The last touchdown drive was unfortunate with a couple of those penalties, but overall felt like we could have played a heck of a lot cleaner, especially from a technique and fundamental standpoint.
Pete Winters had that hit out of bounds penalty. You're always talking about playing with a certain amount of violence, and he seems to be sort of right at that line. How do you what's your coaching point to somebody who's right at that line, but then has a penalty like that?
Yeah, no, he's they're going to call that one 100% of the time. I'll be curious to see if the league recognize it. He wasn't touching the white quite yet. And those quarterbacks are starting to show a tendency of turning it upfield and lowering shoulders too. So there's a little bit of a conflict for these defensive players when it gets to the sideline with the quarterback. But they're the ones out there shooting bullets. They've also got to protect themselves, but also be smart in those situations. When it looks obvious that the quarterback is running out of bounds, just let it go. And just know the history of the quarterback. If he's the type of quarterback that's going to try to turn it upfield and try to gain an extra couple of yards, and go do what you need to do. But I hope I'm answering your question. But at the same time, it is tough because of what these running quarterbacks are starting to do on those sidelines.
Talking about the Patrick Mahomes play?
It's just throughout the league, all of them. I think Patrick a couple of years ago tiptoed up the line when people thought he was going to go out of bounds. So and then just my experience with Josh Allen and all those guys. These quarterbacks are big, they're powerful, they're fast, they're elusive, and they're using that role to their advantage.
One of those guys, you have one of those guys this week. Do your guys have to be a little bit more conscious of that?
Yeah, he's for sure. He's a late slider. But he is fast. He's elusive. He's a jitterbug, and he's also a passer first. He's not just looking to run. He's looking to buy some time, be able to put the ball in the air. But he's as challenging as it gets.
Rena's given up a couple long catches down the field in the first two games. What do you see from him in particular?
Renardo's competing his butt off. The double move was unfortunate. And with every single one of them, he's learning something. His leverage could have been a heck of a lot better from an alignment standpoint on that first on the one against the Saints, and ended the route at the line of scrimmage. But Renardo, people got to remember, he's just a second-year kid, second-year young man, and he's learning and getting better every single week. Loved his energy this week. He always bounces back. I don't feel like it phases him with the way he communicates. He lines up, he goes back, he competes, and that's the one thing you want to see is that if a guy gets beat, he's still up there in press and ready to go play and compete again, and he's not just bailing, trying to stay on top. So Renardo's head's in a good spot. He's getting better, and he'll continue to compete.
After face Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, what kind of challenges he present?
A big challenge. Marvin's a big, strong, powerful receiver. He's got great hands. He's a total package. And so with all our corners, whether he aligns in the slot, so it's going to be a challenge for Upton. But he definitely presents a challenge.
With Huff, Bryce Huff, when you first saw him, he had obviously wasn't really established at the time. How long did it take for you to realize he had a very unique, elite, specific quality as far as his game?
Talking about when we got to the Jets.
Yeah.
So he was a rookie the year prior, so in 21. He was playing linebacker, but it was kind of it was a 3-4 scheme, so it was a little bit different than what we do. To give you background, I want to say we told him that if he was going to make it, it was going to be as a D end, and I want to say he put on almost 25 pounds of just straight muscle. Like his weight room stuff, his lower half strength, and all that stuff is ridiculous. And in that off season, so he got up to. He just packed on pounds, and I was joking with him during the preseason this year. When he wasn't dressed in the fourth quarter, I was like, man, remember in 23 you were still the fourth quarter D end. So it wasn't. We knew what we had, but we also drafted a couple of first rounders, and in 23 he really took off and owned that role and ended up with the double-digit sacks. But which is kudos to him. He never got down on himself. He never got discouraged with people who were being placed in front of him. He just kept plugging, and he's gotten better and better, and he's even better now.
Robert, as far as that, he's talked about he got paid by the Eagles, but for a lot of his career, he really hasn't felt the love. You mentioned drafting a couple first-round guys. You thought he might get traded while he's having a 10-sack season. I mean, when you traded for him for a reason, but was there a conscious hey, make an effort to say, hey, we love you here. We're embracing you.
No, he knows. He knows. I begged him not to go to Philly the first time, so. But money talks. But no, he's. I'd like to think that he feels appreciated out here. Even if he wasn't appreciated back out on the East Coast in 2 different locations, he's definitely appreciated here. And I've said it before. There's. I've always said that those guys like Bosa, the Micah Parsons of the world, all those great edge rushers, I put Huff up there with all of them. I mean, the guy produces at a very high level. They're like closers of baseball. You've got a bunch of guys standing in the outfield and the infield just watching this pitcher pitch. He just and he lights it up. But he has a special talent, and a talent that's very, 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 very precious in this league.
In your first stint here with Warner, I remember a few times you kind of had that, he was a young player, you had that push and pull, how much can I put on his plate, how much can I not? When you came back here this time, did you have conversations with him? How did you kind of go about, what you feel comfortable giving him now that he's so much further advanced?
Well, the communication is constant. Just through the first couple of weeks of game planning and just pulling him in and just having side conversations on where we're at as a defense, what's he like, what he doesn't like, what he thinks we can execute. So it's just constant dialogue. He's so much further advanced. He's turned into a coach on the field.
Might he'll make a quantum leap in terms of performance this week, or was he just more spectacular on a few more plays?
No, that's a fair question. There's going to be ups and downs. I thought last week was fantastic for him. He was he on rundowns. He set edges, knocked people back. Created the mismatch that we need at tight end versus tight end. And on third down, he did a really good job collapsing the pocket and really, really giving those edge guys a chance to rush the passer. When you've got pocket push the way you do, that's where that speed comes to life, where that quarterback just can't step up. He's got to stay, hit his back foot and stay there if he feels that pressure. And I felt like Mike Hill was doing that all game. Same thing with Yator and the rest of them. But like I said, there's going to be roller coasters. Some games will be great, some games won't. But even in the games that don't pop off the tape, he's still going to find ways to get better. And eventually, it's just going to be consistent dominance.
Is there anything Marquise Siegel could have done differently or better on that touchdown catch of Juwan Johnson? What do you see from Siegel in coverage?
Yeah, no, he credit to them. And I thought Spencer Rattler put that ball in a perfect spot. Obviously, it's a big tight end. I look at that from a coverage standpoint. That's tip your cap to them. Obviously, you can go chest to chest and try to get in there, but wish I put us in a better coverage. All right, thanks, guys.
All right. How's it going, guys? Good.
What was your evaluation of Mac on Sunday?
I thought Mac played really well. For someone who hasn't played, competitive football, a real game for I don't know how long it was, stepped in. First quarter, it kind of had to settle into a groove a little bit with some of his accuracy and some of his timing. But once he did, I thought he played really good, and he made plays for us to win the game. So.
What about Kendrick Bourne? Does his route tree, grow, given that he now has a full week here beyond what he had?
For sure. I mean, the more he's out there practicing, the more he's getting comfortable with what we do. His opportunities are going to go up, and he's a sharp guy. He picks it up, so I think you'll just continue to see him be a part of our offense for sure.
You got Connor Colby here. What were kind of your initial impressions, and what kind of growth have you seen from him from then to now?
Initially he's a real quiet rookie who just was here and working and kind of anonymous in that way. And then over time, you just kind of see a guy out there who is very consistent in camp. And when guys just show up consistently every day and are doing things the right way, you start to see, hey, this guy can play. And I think that was kind of his path over the course of camp. He played good in the preseason, and then he steps in for us in a big moment, and he played well. And so he's a guy who just, do you notice him a lot? No, but you notice how consistent he's been and how he's doing the right thing. And so we're happy with his progress, and we're going to need him to keep playing good.
I think of Jones. Not that the draft gurus are always right, but all of Connor Colby's stuff said, boy, he's a good run blocker, but not so, the pass game, he needs a lot of work. Kyle indicated it was the opposite. Have you found that to be?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that stood out to us early in camp was how stout he was in pass protection. He didn't lose matchups. So, our evaluation of him in the draft, we thought a guy who had a really bright future. He was solid in all areas. And so, that's why we drafted him. So whatever the evals were, whatever people said, I think, we had a very good feeling for him, the kind of person he was and how tough he was. And, to say he's surprised us, he probably has a little bit because of where we took him. But, he's been doing what we hoped he would do. So.
What do you think of Jones's play fake on the on the bootleg to Farrell? Kind of carried it out pretty solidly there on the handoff.
Remind me which one.
The touchdown on the naked boot when he
hit it. That was great, and that's how we teach it. He's really got to sell that downhill gap scheme run. That was awesome, and we got the edge. And Luke did a good job of selling the run, and that was awesome play. And Luke did a great job after the catch too, running a guy over and scoring for us. So that was big time.
Christian indicated yesterday he felt like you guys are close to breaking some big ones. What are you seeing in terms of maybe not as much success as you'd like, but in terms of how close you are to getting there?
Yeah, I think the numbers aren't crazy. They're not going to wow you, but when you really watch that tape, I think we're doing a good job in the run game. We're running the ball efficiently. We're doing what we kind of want to do, and then there's been some opportunities where we're a hair off for one reason or the other, whether it's one block we don't finish or just a back making a guy miss or making a cut differently, but we're close. But I've been happy with our run game, and we haven't had negative runs. We've had efficient runs, which is good. And if we keep doing that, we need to keep doing that. I think it's a matter of time before we do pop some and we get some of those explosives. But we've been good, and we got to keep getting better though. So
we've seen over the years rookies who get hurt in training camp sort of fall behind and never really are able to catch back up their rookie seasons. Is Jordan Watkins in danger of that, or has he kind of shown a sharpness, since the spring that will allow him to kind of get back up to speed quickly?
For sure. It's tough. It's tough when you miss time for anybody, and rookies especially, because just going through the rigors of the season, when you miss time in training camp, it is a setback. So he's doing everything he can do. He's a sharp guy. He's working. And we hope he stays on that trajectory and he gets his opportunity. But the truth is, it's hard when you have setbacks and you miss time. So, you kind of see what guys are made of. Can they overcome it and keep pushing through it? So,
with Robinson out, Kittle on IR, and then Ayuk, return is near. How confident are you once those guys come back that this offense can kind of fire on all cylinders?
I'm confident now. I'm confident with the guys we have out there. Obviously, you name a lot of names that aren't out there, but I love the way our guys are working as a group. I love the kind of football we're playing. And as long as we have that mindset, I think whoever's out there, we're going to continue to hopefully have some success on offense. We haven't turned the ball over a lot. We've played penalty free. We've been efficient. We got to keep doing those things. And so, you hope to add players who we know are explosive players who can make great plays for us. And you hope that we continue that trend. So I think we got to keep playing good football. And when those guys come back, I think it's only going to be a bonus.
Gannon has a reputation of being a pretty good defensive coach. What does his defense look like this year on film?
Yeah. Schematically, they're always a challenge. They're one of the more unique schemes in the NFL. And they have really good players. It starts with Buddha, and I have so much respect for that guy. I think he's one of the better defensive players in this league, and he's all over the field. They've added some guys up front, and they've gotten better up front, in my opinion. And so that's, becoming one of the strengths of their defense. So when you add the challenges of the scheme, the talent in the back end, and then them getting better up front and their pass rush, they're a real big challenge for us. So that's what we're working on, and we'll be up for it. But it's going to be a tough game.
There's so much talk about Kyle's play calling and how elite his play calling is. And I'm just curious, almost anybody can call a play. But what goes into teaching guys to execute the play that you call? Especially with the reduced amount of practice time in recent years, why is Kyle good at that?
Kyle's a great teacher. He can get his vision. He can get his guys to understand his vision, and it's about communication and how you communicate things to people. So it starts with preparation and just the way you prepare guys, the way you teach, whether it's through installs or through film. He's exceptional at those things. And then when it comes to game day, it's preparation. It's putting yourself through scenarios, putting yourself in situations where, okay, when this happens, I want to have this call. When that happens, I want to have this call. And also knowing what your players are comfortable with. When you get to Sunday, what do I feel like these guys are ready to execute in this situation? And Kyle puts himself through all those situations, and he's taught me a lot about how to do that as well, how to be ready for those moments. So, I just think when you combine, the teaching and the way he teaches our offense, and the way he prepares to call the game, I think that's where you get, good play calling.
Gannon pointed out that Shanahan's really good in game at making switches on the fly. You've worked with other coaches, I'm sure. How does he compare?
I think all coaches, that's part of coaching. You have to make adjustments. And Kyle has a great eye when we're looking through the pictures and we're kind of looking at how the defense is reacting. Kyle's great at communicating what he's seeing, and then we talk and we get together and say, hey, what can we do to kind of, take advantage of this look, what they're doing. And like you said, Kyle just has a great eye for those things, and he sees them, and we communicate on the sideline, and we try to get it done if we need to make adjustments. All right, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right, that was you heard from both Clint Kubiak and Robert Saleh. They're preparing for this games. The Niners getting ready to take on the Arizona Cardinals this Sunday. It will be opening weekend at the Mecca at Levi Stadium, and kickoff time will be at 1:25. That'll be on Fox Sports, and the 49ers will be wearing their all-white 1994 white road throwback jerseys. They'll wear the throwback alternates. They're going to be wearing those for the next. They'll be wearing those on Sunday, and the Niners get ready to take on the Arizona Cardinals for week number 3 at the Mecca. We're going to have the quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk. We'll have a few more segments. We'll talk about the turf toe. They've been talking about the big news of the week, of course. Joe Burrow, the Bengals, going to have surgery on his turf toe injury. He's going to be out for at least 3 months. That's a major blow for the Cincinnati Bengals and their chances to be competitive this year. We wish Joe Burrow full recovery. He'd get back on the field real soon. So let's take this quick time out. Professor B here at the Financial District in downtown San Francisco for Niners Radio 49. We'll be right back. Continue on 49ers Live, Niners Radio 49. We've got 2 more segments before we hand it over to Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, calling the game, the Bills and the Dolphins, with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit in Orchard Park, New York at Highmark Field. Let's go to the our segment, turf toe injury. A lot of guys want to know what's more about the turf toe injury, and we're going to share it with you. And So this segment, thank you for the video courtesy from myclevelandclinic.org. That's myclevelandclinic.org for this, giving us this information. So we are getting ready to wrap it up for now on Niners Radio 49, 49ers Live. I'd like to thank all of you for watching this podcast, this condensed podcast. We went a little bit further. It's getting close to kickoff time right now. It is the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. We'll send you over to Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit with the play-by-play. And tomorrow, if time allows, we'll have another edition of 49ers Live. Kyle Shanahan will have his final injury report and latest news on the 49ers and so much more. Go to 49ers.com. And a reminder, next week we'll have the season premiere of 49ers Tailgate with yours truly, Professor P. The season premiere will be on Niners Radio 49. We'll be kicking off our 12th season here over at Santa Clara's Levi Stadium at the Mecca, and our 13th season overall. And we'll have Antonio Varlo and the rest of the cast of thousands over at the Mecca at the Gold Bar Whiskey doing 49ers Tailgate. And we'll be the first of two back-to-back shows coming up. I'll be out there taping it, and we'll post it up on our YouTube platform. Then we'll have in case if you're not able, we'll have replay it on our regular podcast, and you can always catch the replay on Niners or YouTube.com/@NinersRadio49. Well, and a reminder, plenty of tickets available for this Sunday's game. You can go to you can go to youtube.com/@NinersRadio49 to check out our podcast, and we'll have our Niners Radio 49 word on the street. And the Shoe Shy Man, Niner, as we'll have our final segment. It will be Elijah One, the 49ers superfan, Shoe Shy Man, will wrap it up for us. And thank you for joining us for the latest news on 49ers news and so much more. Go to 49ers.com. Check us out also on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. And we'll be doing the news, writing content for the 49ers on our sister network, our sister platform, patreon.com/@SDM News Network for all of that. So for now, Professor B signing off. Thank you for watching another edition of 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49 is in association with the Satellite Digital Media Network, where every team is a fan. Every fan is a voice, the network, home of champions. As we leave you off, right now, here is the final segment. Elijah One, Shoe Shine Man for Niners Radio 49 on Word on the Street segment. Talk about the Niners' victory over the New Orleans Saints last Sunday. Yours truly, Professor B, checking out. Signing off, checking out. We'll talk to you again. And wish all of you have a very pleasant, good evening. So long. Welcome to our segment on Niners Radio 49, Word on the Street. We'll be doing this all throughout the entire 2025 NFL season, all the way hopefully up to Super Sunday here in the Bay. Hopefully the Niners will be there come in February, but that's a way long off. But to the present, the Niners with another victory over the Arizona, or I should say the New Orleans Saints down at the Superdome in the Big Easy last Sunday, 26-21. My main man, Niner faithful, the shoe-shine man, Elijah One. What are your thoughts on the win?
My thoughts are elevated and keep elevating until we go all the way to the Super Bowl. That's the only vision I have in my mind. They got everything set. Just keep on the course. That's what I'm doing.
Your thoughts of last week, defensively playing at a high level and, getting another win. They're now 2-0 in the young season.
Yeah, well, I think that the more experience younger players get, the better they're going to get as it goes along. As we keep going, we're going to learn more and more. We're going to get better. You can almost feel it. You can feel how strong their defense is. They're going to win a lot of games for us. That's what we really do.
All right, Lodge, I want to take it. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you. Hey, Joe, come see me, Joe. Come get your shine, Joe.
All right, that's a lot. 49er faithful, Super Niner fan, Elijah One. Word on the street here in downtown San Francisco. Professor B, 49ers Radio 49.